Amanda, are you ready? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the 80th Watertown Winter Farm Show. Friday. Today is Simmental Day. I'd like to welcome all of our viewers on liveauction.tv. This is Class 1. This is percentage heifers. There's two entries in this class. They are 51 and 53X. 51 consigned from Heyman family. 51 was a March 5th of 24 female. June 5th of 24. 53X is a May 3rd of 24. I'd like to thank our sponsors today for the Simmental Show and Sale. Our sponsors are Castlewood Elevator, that's the Line Community Oil, Access, Hamlin County Farmers Co-op, Latini Ag, Tri-County Vet, BC Ag, Cloud 9, Glacial Lakes Livestock, Grunwald Seed, Mike Grunwald, J&R Feeds, Willie's Sports Bar, MPL Incorporated, Larry Johnson's, Shoe Cards Trailer Sales, Van Kooten Egg Service, and the Elevator Bar located in the metropolitan area of Vienna.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Simmental Day and AOB Day of the Watertown Winter Farm Show. It's a pleasure to be here. Pretty exciting pair of heifers to start our day. Definitely our younger group of females, but two that I think have quite a bit of potential in terms of what they can become as cows. I'm going to use the young lady in the purple to go ahead and start if she wants to head her way out the ring. A heifer that I think is really appealing in terms of, I think, her frame size. I think as that one continues to mature, that's a really smooth-shouldered, pretty good ribbed female that's pretty long about her hip. And I think as she gets out and goes, it's still pretty sound. And I think that's one that does a lot of things right. And I think will be an excellent, excellent brood cow prospect for someone or a show heifer for anybody as well. The young lady's heifer that comes in second, one that's probably a little bit neater in terms of the lay to her shoulder, into her neck. One that's definitely plenty bold in terms of her center. Or I get a little bit picky as she's a nickel shorter hipped, not quite as loose about her spine, but definitely a female that I think is plenty attractive up front. Excellent pair of heifers to start out our day.
So winning that class is lot number 53X from Heyman Simmentals. In second place, lot number 51. We'll now have class 2 of our percentage females into the show ring. These are April heifers. Into the show ring, we need lot number 55, April 28th, lot number 49, April 18th, and lot number 46, April 14th. Our judge this morning is Mitchell Vanderwall from Howard, South Dakota. He's currently a senior at South Dakota State University. He was in the top 5 individual national Western and Houston Stock Show judges. Is that correct, Mitchell? And for a good reason. He's had a very good teacher, not only at SDSU, but he's had a very, very good teacher sitting around the dinner table where he eats dinner, and his dad, Jeff. They raise Shorthorn and Hereford cattle. And today he's got his lovely fiance, Kelsey Erf, is that right? Sitting over here on the computer doing her homework. She's also a student at SDSU. Oh, she graduated. Okay. Well, that's what you want to do, Mitchell. You want to marry a gal with a job. The heifer on the far end is from Philpeck Simmentals, an April 28th heifer. The middle heifer is from Purebred Farms, an April 18th heifer. And the young lady in the blue vest from Heyman Simmentals is a April 14th heifer.
Pretty exciting second class in our percentage Simmental show. A female that I think you definitely need to appreciate in a lot of ways. It's a really soft-haired heifer, extremely well presented. One that's super intriguing in terms of her lower skeleton, really square in terms of how she's built. And I think as she gets out and moves is super sound, plenty flexible about her hock and pastern, and still I think has plenty of body shape, has plenty of sound about her spine, comes out of a level hip, and a really, really heads up attractive female up front. Definitely keep your eye on that one later on in the day, come closer to sale. Young lady brings us an ultra stout, really, really broody kind of female, one that's pretty intriguing. I think it's awfully cool to see a little bit of color on one, and I think this is one that's definitely got a cool look in terms of her head and her belly and back towards her flank. Really big feet. That one has a lot of power, a lot of stoutness to that one that I think you can really generate more on once she becomes a cow. And the young lady's got a heifer that I think is really intriguing from the side. Super balanced, ultra long spined, really, really long neck. I think that as she gets out and moves, it's pretty flexible. Maybe just needs to be a bit bigger pin today. I'd like to see a nickel more power in her compared to the two that start, but definitely a really intriguing female that I think as she develops will become an excellent cow. Congratulations.
So winning that class of percentage heifers is lot number 49 from Hurlbut Farms. Second place, lot number 46 from Heyman Family Simmentals. And in third place, lot number 55 from Philpeck Farms. Into the ring now should be lot number 43 and lot number 41. Lot number 43 from Willards be a March 27th of 24 heifer. And lot number 41 from Philpeck Farms, a March 1st of 24. So these are March females. Also this year, the Watertown Simmental are again doing a 3 heifer memorial grants in memory of Dennis and Joanne Schmig, Deb Ford, and Jordan Heyman to 3 lucky juniors who purchase a heifer lot. All heifer lots will be eligible for the drawing, which will be held at the end of the sale. Each junior will need to show the heifer in the Futurity show to receive their $200. The Futurity show is held in Huron. It's the South Dakota Summer Spotlight Show held in Huron in July. So keep that in mind. Also, for you people thinking about purchasing a heifer for a project, the Coteau Hills Cattlemen Association has got a heifer endowment. Young lady, the next time that she lays down, does she know any other tricks? Will she roll over? Yeah.
Definitely an agile one to start our class today. Definitely no problem in getting around. That's one that I think is pretty attractive in terms of her center body, one that I think is correct in terms of her lower skeleton, and definitely wants to go run on grass and be a mama cow someday. The young man brings us a heifer in second that I think is really intriguing from the side. That's one that's ultra square in terms of her hip, good in terms of her spine. When I step behind her, maybe just square up her hock ever so slightly, but a good pair of heifers. Young lady will start, young man will be reserved for second.
So in first place is lot number 41, which would be a March 1st of 24 heifer. In second place is lot number 43 from Willards, a March 27th heifer. One entry in class 4 percentage females be lot number 39. This heifer will be born February 27th of 24. We want to welcome Erilyn Jurens from Castlewood. She is your Simmental princess. She'll be helping later in the day, passing out awards, and thank you for being here today. Congratulations, Erilyn. Class 4, this is a exhibit from Willow Creek. Willow Creek comes to us from Sauk Rapids, Minnesota.
As this young man gets this heifer parked, I think one that definitely needs to be appreciated in terms of how sound she is at the surface. Definitely good in terms of the flexibility of her lower joints and angles. And I think this young man's done an excellent job getting this one ultra soft-haired, clipping her right. I think she's presented awfully well. And I think that really shows off her capacious middle portion and still plenty good in terms of her top line. I think that's a heifer that'll be really cool to see come back for a champion percentage.
That heifer is exhibited by Willow Creek from Sauk Center. Lot number 39, a February 27th of 24. Back into the ring, we will need lot number 53X, lot number 49, lot number 41, lot number 39. This will be your champion percentage heifer calf. This will be for your champion yearling heifer calf. On the far end, young lady's heifer is a May 3rd of 24. The next heifer is a April 18th of 24. The young lady with the purple top is a March 1st of 24. I think this is about the first time I've seen that. And the heifer directly in front of the auction block is a February 27th of 24.
I think 4 excellent heifers that come out for our yearling champion for our percentage show. I think 4 that offer a lot of differences and a lot of advantages in their own right. The ultra youthful Mayborn female in front is ultra intriguing in terms of her feminine front. I think that's one that's good and balanced as you go back through her spine, out through her hip, and I think one that as she continues to blossom will be an excellent cow prospect. The young man in the cowboy hat brings us a female that I think you have to appreciate from the profile. If you step to the side of this one, I think she does a lot of things extremely well. She blends in from a smooth neck and shoulder into a really appreciate her forerib and boldness to her center portion, and one that in terms of her lower skeleton is ultra pleasing. One that I think when you step behind her maybe could use just a nickel more width at the surface, but I think when you step to the side is where this one truly shines, and set her in motion, she doesn't disappoint. The acrobat of the class in the 3rd spot, I think one that's going to be an excellent brood cow. I think that you look in terms of her head shape, her neck, and in terms of her bold center portion, I think as she continues to mature will be an excellent brood cow, and I think as she continues on could be an excellent show heifer. And the young man brings us probably the most powerful heifer here in the lineup on our 4th spot, one that is ultra intriguing when you step behind her. Big pinned, really genuine down to the surface. Really appreciate her in terms of the turn to her stifle, the turn in terms of her midrib, and I think that you get in front of her, that one is plenty genuine in terms of how she remains powerful from nose to tail. 4 excellent heifers. I'll go ahead and select your champion. We'll bring a 2nd place out, and then I'll select your reserve for the yearling percentage division.
So your champion percentage heifer will be shown by Purebred Farms of Raymond, South Dakota, lot number 49. Now back into the ring if we can have lot number 46. Well, this heifer is coming in. We'd like to thank our sponsors. It's Access, formerly the Castlewood Elevator and Esteline Community Oil, Hammond County Farmers Co-op, Latini Ag, Tri-Valley Vet, BC Ag, Cloud9, Glacial Lakes Livestock, Grunwald Seed, Mike Grunwald, J&R Feeds, Willie's Sports Bar, MPL Incorporated, Larry Johnson's, Shoecards Trailer Sales, Van Kooten Egg Service, and the Elevator Bar. Thank you, Simmental Show and Sales sponsors.
Young lady brings us a really, really stout-made female that was 2nd in that class. One that you have to appreciate in terms of her foot size. A big bone female that I think as you get that one back home, either turn her into a show heifer or become a brood cow. I think she'll add a lot of advantages in terms of building really, really powerful females or really exciting bulls. An excellent start to the day in our percentage drive. I'll go ahead and select your reserve calf champion.
The reserve calf champion comes from Class 4, Lot 39 from Willow Creek Simmentals. We have 1 entry in the older females. Class 5 will be lot number 32. This heifer is a March 1st of 23. This heifer is exhibited by Thean Simmentals of Hayti.
I'm going to start talking early on this one because I think she needs every breath she deserves. A female that I'm really glad came today because this one is pretty cool. Woof came to my mind right away. I think she's plenty woofy in terms of how much power she has, and yet at the surface, I think that's one that still walks really, really good. Super sound female, really capacious in terms of her rib. I really love her head shape. I think that one just truly looks like a mama cow, bred for an April 1st baby, and I think when that day comes, it'll be awfully exciting. I think that she'll generate quite a bit for anyone that wants to bring her home. I think that in terms of becoming a mother cow, she's ready to roll. I think she's plenty good in terms of how her udder is developing thus far, and I think in the next 45 days, that'll be one that'll be truly exciting. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Mike Thean on lot number 32. Now we'll bring in lot number 49 for the overall champion. Overall percentage champion, yes. That will be followed by the purebred heifers. This is the overall percentage champion.
I think we've gotten some excellent views of both of these females so far this morning, and I think that two need to be appreciated in terms of where they are, in terms of their development and maturity. The heifer calf champion one that as you stand off to the side of her is super, super intriguing. I mean, that young man gets her head pulled up, and I think she's about as good as you can make one in terms of the shape of her head, her ability to blend into her neck, into a smooth shoulder, and still good in terms of her forerib and body shape. And like I mentioned before, I mean, one that is so sound and flexible at the surface and still plenty comfortable in terms of the use of her spine, one that I think will have a very, very bright future, one that maybe I just want to power up a nickel from behind, but that's getting awfully picky because that one in terms of her pieces is awesome. And then the bred female that comes in behind her, one that's definitely maybe more advanced in terms of maturity. You know, she's probably got about a year in age advantage over the female ahead of her, but I think she's handling herself extremely well. I think one that's good in terms of her shoulder, huge in terms of her center portion. As she gets out and moves off of a really stout, big foot, I think still maintains plenty of flexibility about her top line, plenty sound, and ultra shapely from behind. I think as she continues to become a mama cow, I think that'll be one that does extremely well for whoever decides to purchase her later today. I'll go ahead and select your champion percentage, and then we'll pick the other for reserve.
So Mike Thien will be your overall champion percentage heifer with a lot number 32. Reserve champion will be lot number 49. You talk about longevity in cattle. How about cattle producers? Mike said he bought his first heifer here from Dennis Schmig at this sale in 1982 and started his herd. Dustin Hurlbut and Baylor, their father was the sales supervisor here for, I think, over 25 years. He took over after Dennis Schmig quit. Now we'll start with our purebred heifers. First heifer into the ring is lot number 48. These are April heifers. It's be April 17th. The next heifer in is lot number 44 from Hyde Simmentals on April 10th. The third heifer in the ring from Thean Simmentals is lot number 42X. And April 3rd of 24 heifer. These are purebred heifers. The Junior Simmental Association also has a silent auction items up in the northwest corner of the sale ring. There's silent auction items up there that can be purchased up until the end of the sale. And as you look at this, all heifers, and we have one steer today, are eligible for the South Dakota Fertility Show held in July during the South Dakota Summer Spotlight down in Huron.
I'm actually going to leave these heifers as they came in. I think three that offer plenty of advantages in terms of their kind, and I think are plenty good at that. The young lady whose female is going to win, the Baldy heifer, is definitely, I think, one that is intriguing in terms of her front end. I think she's built well in terms of how her neck blends into her shoulder. Where this female truly impresses me in terms of her upper rib shape, I think that's one that as you stand behind her and step above her, that is a pretty big-backed individual that's has plenty of turn into the upper portion of her rib and still maintains plenty of width back through her hip and her pin set. And as you set her out in motion, I think is plenty flexible at the surface and still utilizes all of her joints in a correct manner. Excellent way to start the class. The young man has a female that I think is super broody in terms of her design, a huge ribbed, really, really bold sprung female. One that I think could be just a nickel, just a little bit more comfortable in terms of the use to her spine. I'd like to just strengthen her up a little bit over her loin, but one that's plenty big in terms of her foot, massive in terms of her feature, and I think really capacious in terms of her center. And the young man brings us a female that, as I step in front of her, is super intriguing. Her fuzzy ears definitely draw my attention in terms of a really intriguing head shape. I think good in terms of her neck, her shoulder. As you get into her center portion, one that I just was a nickel softer in terms of the lower portion of her body cavity, and her lower skeleton maybe just utilize a little more flex to her hock. But I think as that one develops and matures and you push that one in terms of being a show heifer, I think that one has an extremely bright future. Congratulations to those three.
So winning that class is lot 48 from Flaxen Creek. Second, lot number 44 from Hyde Simmentals. And in third place, lot 42X from Thean Simmentals. There's one entry in class 2. This will be a late February from Philippek Family Simmentals, lot number 38, a February 23rd calf.
The young lady brings us another female that I think is a tandem in terms of her versatility. I think if you want to take this one and turn her into a show heifer, you definitely do plenty well at that. And then take her home and make her become a cow, and I think that she will do extremely good job at that. You look at that one in terms of her center portion. I think that's a super square-made heifer who's deep about her rib, plenty big and bold in terms of her lower skeleton, and I think plenty stout in terms of her feature that let her come home and become a cow, and she'll do an amazing job. Congratulations.
So winning that class is lot number 38. Mitchell, old boy, I could even pick that one. Now we'll have class 3, 2 entries. Lot 35 from Hink Family Simmentals, a February 3rd, and lot 34 from Flaxen Creek Simmentals, also a February 3rd of 24. These two heifers are exactly the same age. After this class, we will pick our champion and reserve purebred heifer.
I'm going to leave these heifers as they stand. I think a pair that you could definitely talk about till you're blue in the face. I think they both offer advantages in their own type and kind, and if you want to switch them, by all means. I think both of them can be justified as class winners, and like vice versa. I think these two are very similar in terms of how much quality they possess, yet I think still can be offer plenty of advantages in their own right. The young man who I'm going to use to win this class, a heifer that I'm truly impressed when I step on top of her, that is one that is really big in terms of her back, has plenty of rib shape, super stout pin set, and as she goes down to the surface, remains plenty genuine. I think that as she gets out and moves, is plenty flexible in terms of the use to her pastern, good in terms of her spine, and I think that one is truly impressive in terms of the power that she possesses. And the young man in second, I think, is one that is really intriguing in terms of the turn to the upper portion of her rib. I think that she's got plenty of power up high. I think one that's probably just a nickel. Excuse me. I think that's one that I think is really intriguing in terms of the power and shape to the upper portion of her rib, plenty of turn in terms of her stifle, maybe one that I wish just moved just a little bit more flexible out of her hock, but an excellent pair of females that I think both offer plenty of advantages.
So congratulations to Hink Family Simmentals on lot 35. First place, Flaxen Creek Simmentals, lot 34 in second. Back into the show ring for your champion purebred heifer. We will need lot number 48, lot number 38, and lot number 35. Champion purebred heifer. Champion in reserve. For your champion in reserve purebred heifer. The heifer on the far end from the auction block is an April 17th of 24. The next heifer is a February 23rd of 24. The heifer immediately in front of me is a February 2nd of 24. Once again, these heifers today, there are 3 lucky juniors that will be eligible for $200 towards the purchase of a heifer. They're in memory of Dennis and Joanne Schmig, Deb Ford, and Jordan Heyman. All heifer lots will be eligible for the drawing, which will be held at the end of the sale. Each junior will need to show the heifer at the Futurity Show in Huron at the South Dakota Summer Spotlight, held in July. Also from the Coteau Hills Cattlemen's Association, the heifer endowment program is a one-time use for members of 4-H. You purchase a heifer at the Watertown Winter Farm Show. It can be any breed purchased at the Watertown Winter Farm Show to be eligible, and the following criteria must be met. The heifer must be shown by the buyer at their county 4-H achievement days, and a photo of the exhibitor and their heifer at the county 4-H achievement days. That's eligible for a $250 grant. Their goal is to help 4-H kids purchase a heifer and start their herd and become the next generation in ag.
All the heifers and the steer are eligible for the South Dakota Futurity Show.
I mentioned that earlier. I'll mention it again. What sheet is that on? That's on this show. All of the heifers here in this show today, as well as the steer you will see later, are eligible for the South Dakota Futurity Show held in Huron during the South Dakota Spotlight.
I think there's a trio of heifers that come out here and definitely offer some discussion. I think three that are plenty different in terms of their build. I think there's been some classes today that have had a lot of similarities from one heifer to another. I think these three offer some advantages in very different ways. The blaze face female that comes out of our first class of purebreds, one that I think is probably the most feminine and probably the most appropriate in terms of the angle and flexibility of her lower skeleton. This is one that I truly appreciate in terms of her ability to motor out of her hock, and her pastern is ultra flexible when in motion. I think a very smooth-shouldered female that's good in terms of her midrib, one that I think offers some turn to the center or turn to her stifle. Maybe not the biggest pinned heifer out here, maybe not quite as powerful as others in contention, but definitely a female I truly appreciate for her femininity and her true show heifer appeal. The heifer that comes out of our second class, one that I'm super excited to see as she matures. I think as she gets closer to becoming a brood cow, that's one that can offer tons and tons of value and be plenty versatile in back in production and raising some very intriguing offspring. And the young man brings us a heifer that I truly appreciate in terms of her power. I think that's one that's plenty bold and big in terms of her rib, maintains so much turn to her stifle, big pinned heifer that I think is still plenty genuine down to the surface. If I was to get picky on her, I truly wish that she was maybe cooperating a nickel better today, as I think that her hock and pastern could motor with just a little bit more flexibility. But I think a heifer that offers plenty of appeal in terms of her power and attractiveness, and I think one that'll offer tons of value to whoever's able to take that one home. I'll take one more look at him, and we'll select your champion purebred female.
So your champion purebred heifer is exhibited by Hink Family Simmentals, lot number 35. We'll now bring in lot number 34. We will select our reserve champion.
Young man brings a heifer that was second in that class, and again, that was a super challenging class and a pair of heifers that I think offered plenty of similarities in terms of their advantages. I think that in terms of power, in terms of ridge shape, and their turn to their stifle, and ability to still motor with enough comfort, I think that's a pair that offers plenty of super intriguing pieces, and I think, like I said before, who's ever able to take those two home will be very happy with their purchase. I'm going to go ahead and take one more peek at them, and then I'll select your reserve champion purebred female.
A reserve champion purebred heifer is exhibited by Flaxen Creek, lot number 34. Congratulations, exhibitors. We'll now have our percentage bulls. The females that were your champions today will be eligible for Supreme Roll. There'll be $1,500 to both the buyer and the consigner. Your Supreme Roll bulls will be $2,000 to the buyer and the consigner. Reserve and Supreme Row was $500 each to the buyer and consigner on both the bulls and the females. Your Supreme Row sponsors this year, once again, are American Bank and Trust, Badlands Ranch and Rodeo Equipment, Dakota Bank, Farm Credit Services of America, First Bank and Trust, First Interstate Bank, First Premier Bank, Glacial Lakes Energy, Kibble Equipment, Midwest Veterinary Service, Plains Commerce Bank, Relia Bank, Titan Machinery, Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, which include Cottick and Clark Electric, HD Electric, Whetstone Valley and Lake Region Electric, and Tri-State Livestock News and Farmer Ranch Exchange. Thanks to these sponsors, each breed champion bull, female, and a random drawing per breed will receive an embroidered farm show jacket. We have 2 entries in our first percentage bull class. They are lots number 31 and lot number 26. Lot number 31 comes from Heyman Family Simmentals. Be April 24th of 24. Lot 26 comes to you from Hoyer Simmentals. Also this is an April 2nd of 24. So just 22 days of age. Separate these 2 young bulls. April bulls.
Pair of April bull calves that I think are plenty different in terms of how they're built and how they're designed. The young man that I used to win, definitely more of your moderate package. I'd say that that's one that's probably a nickel more smaller in terms of his frame size. But what truly impresses me about him is when you step behind him or get in front of him. That is a big pin bull who's still got plenty of width, and he stays genuine down to the surface. I think as he gets out in motors that he's got plenty of flexibility and still hits his stride plenty easily. I think step behind that bull, and that's where you can truly appreciate that one. The bull that comes here in second, one that I think is really intriguing in terms of maybe just his larger frame size, one who ties a nickel higher out of the top side of his shoulder. I think is plenty attractive in terms of his neck, but I think going away maybe just offer just a bit more power from behind, but I think one that's still plenty stout, big boned, and has plenty of mass at the surface. Congratulations to those 2.
So winning that class is number 26 from Hoyer Cattle Company of Miller. Second place, Heyman Brothers Simmentals of Raymond, lot number 31. We have 2 entries in our next class. These are March bulls, late March. Lot number 23 from Willert Simmentals, and lot number 22 from Thean Simmentals. The bull on the north end is a March 28th bull. Lot number 22 is a March 20th bull. At this time, I'd also like to thank our sale and show sponsors. Access, it's formerly the Castlewood and Esteline Co-ops. Hamlin County Farmers Co-op, Latini Ag, Tri-County Vet, BC Ag, Cloud 9, Glacial Lakes Livestock, Grunwald Seed, Mike Grunwald, J&R Feeds, Willie's Sports Bar, MPL Incorporated, Larry Johnson's, Shoe Cards Trailer Sales, Van Kooten Egg Service, and the Elevator Bar in Vienna. Thank you, show and sales sponsors.
I'll go ahead and start with this bull right here standing in front of me. I think there's a pair of bulls in here that are really hard to pick apart structurally. I think at the surface, both of these motor with plenty of flexibility. I think that he's a talker, all right. This is a bull I truly appreciate in terms of he's one that's plenty flexible at the surface, as I mentioned before. A pair of them that, like I said, is tough to pick a hole in. I think this is a bull that is extremely intriguing in terms of his profile, one that's plenty balanced and level in terms of his top line, good in terms of his midrib, and still ties plenty high out of the top side of his shoulder and into an extremely attractive head. And for a bit younger bull, I think I truly appreciate his testicular development. I think that's one that's getting plenty far along, and I think will be extremely exciting once he gets turned out to cows. And then probably a nickel stouter version comes here in second, one that is super big in terms of his circumference of bone and foot size. I think is plenty bold in terms of his center rib, and as you step in front of him or behind, still offers plenty of power and pin width. I think that one I truly appreciate in terms of his back shape. I think that he's got plenty of width up high, and I think, like I mentioned before, in comparison, still motors extremely well. Pair of bulls that definitely offer a lot of quality. Congratulations to them.
So winning that class is lot number 22 from Thean Simmentals of Hayti, and in second place, lot number 23 from Willards. Willards come to us, Willow Meadows Cattle from Aurora, South Dakota. Into the ring now, we need class 3 of the percentage bulls. We should have lot 17 from Heyman Brothers Simmentals, a March 7th calf. Lot 16 from Schletters, a March 6th calf. Is that Michaels and Mickles? And lot 12 from Mickles, a March 1st calf. So just 6 days separate the age of these calves. There's another young lady here should be recognized. I've kind of got ties to her because I was kind of born, raised in Raymond, and so was she, is Mackenzie Reese down here. Thank you for all the work you do this week, Mackenzie. She's an old Raymond, South Dakota girl. I'll tell you how good the help is at the Watertown Chamber of Commerce. The manager, raise your hand, Tim. He's over here eating a roll, having a drink of coffee, just like everything's going on, just lickety bang, yeah. Sitting down enjoying himself, and all the girls are working. Tim Sheehan right there, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. He's the chamber CEO and president. He definitely deserves a round of applause. Thank you very much, Tim. this time to recognize him when he's up there sitting there eating and everybody else is working. So that worked out pretty good.
Trio of bulls that I think offer some differences in terms of their build, in terms of their stages of maturity, but I think three that offer plenty of quality in their own right. The young man's bull that'll go ahead and win as he leads out, I think that's one that's plenty big in terms of his foot size, plenty big in terms of his circumference of bone, and I think is plenty stout in terms of his feature. Step on top of him, that is a big pin bull that's still plenty genuine in terms of the shape on the upper portion of his rib. I think as you step in front of him, definitely a bull that offers some power. I think as he continues to mature, I think that'll be one that's pretty exciting as a mature bull. The bull that comes in second, I think, is probably one of the more intriguing bulls in this class. I think that's one that I truly appreciate in terms of his masculinity. I think he may be a bit more moderate in terms of his frame size. However, I think that's one that I appreciate in terms of how masculine he is and yet still blends from a smooth shoulder and neck into a forerib. And I think as you step behind him, is doing awfully well in terms of his soundness at the surface and in terms of his testicular development. And a bull that comes in third, I think that the Blaze Face bull is probably my favorite in terms of his masculinity, about his head, crest, and brow. I think that's one that as he continues to develop will be awfully intriguing. One that's super flexible at the surface, offers plenty of length of spine. He's a large frame bull. I think one that I could just power up a nickel to continue in this class.
So winning class 3 is lot number 16 from Schlitter Simmentals from Cottonwood, Minnesota. In second place, lot number 12 from Mickles. Mickles comes to us from, where the hell is he from? I don't see him listed.
Jeff and Rebecca.
There he is, Jeff and Rebecca Mickle from Pier. And in third place is lot 17 from Heyman Family Simmentals. So once again, lot 16 in first, lot 12 in second, and lot 17 in third. We have one entry in this class. This is class 4, percentage bulls. One entry from Philippek Family Simmentals. Lot 10, a February 24th calf.
So I learned that this bull's mama has only ever had bulls, and to be honest, despite her dismay, I'm quite glad she keeps having bulls. This is a really cool creature. I think this is a bull that is really cool in terms of how he's able to motor off of a big foot, big bone, and still gets out plenty flexible. He's sound in terms of his spine, and I think as he goes away, I definitely appreciate in terms of his bold, capacious rib that still comes back plenty stout and wide in terms of his pin set and remains plenty genuine back to the surface. Very excited to see him come back out for champion.
That was lot 10 from Philippek Family Simmentals. Now we have class 5 of the percentage bulls. There's 2 entries in this. Lot 5 from Fuchs Simmentals and lot 4 from Philippek Farms. This is Class 5. We have Lot 5 from Fuchs Simmentals, a February 2nd of 24 calf. And Lot 4 from Philippek Family Simmentals, a January 26th of 24 calf. Is this her last name?
She's a dairy girl. They got browns. She brought 2 brown Swiss heifers over there that couldn't be bred. That was the chuckle at the short-horn meeting the other night. They're very well known, and I think it does well with the brown Swiss. Named Silver Girl, I believe. That's where I always told Mitchell, I will always be Kelsey #1 because I came into your life first. So it was confusing the other day. He was yelling at me and her at kind of the same time. I'm like, which one are you talking to?
As we get into the classes of older bulls, I think the quality definitely is increasing. I think we start off a bull that's really cool in terms of his build. I think that's one that's plenty flexible at the surface, really long and level in terms of his design. That's a really big frame bull that's plenty intriguing in terms of his ability to pull a lot of good pieces together. I think he's plenty masculine about his head and crest and brow, and I think as you travel back through him, that's a pretty big hipped individual, and it's pretty impressive in terms of his testicular development. Congratulations to that Freeze branded bull. The young lady brings us a Blaze Face in second that definitely wants to get out and motor, and I think he does it extremely well. I think he's plenty flexible. He's good in terms of the angle to his lower skeleton, one that maybe you just give him a nickel more mass as he continues to get any higher in this class. Congratulations to them.
So winning that class is Lot 5. Nope. Lot 4. Lot 4 from Philippek Family Farms. Second place is Lot 5. So back into the show ring, we'll need Lot 26, Lot 22, Lot 12, Lot 10, and Lot 4. They'll be coming in youngest to oldest. Once again, our judge for today is Mitchell Vanderwall of Howard. He's currently a senior at South Dakota State University. Listen to this now, folks. He is a member of the 2024 South Dakota Livestock judging team, and he was in the top 5 individual judges throughout the United States of America at the Denver National Western and the Houston Stock Show. It wasn't like the Watermelon Festival in Pumpkin Center, Iowa now. He's been to the big shows and was in the top 5. Mitchell raises Shorthorn and Hereford cattle at Howard. His fiance is sitting over on the west side. Did he buy you flowers yet, Kelsey? Oh, get that. Keep that in mind. Maybe he's going to buy you a heifer. Maybe that's better yet. There you go.
No brown Swiss heifers.
And Mitchell, you better get a card made, because the reasons you've been giving for the way you've been judging people on the net, you're going to be a busy man judging shows around the country. This is for your champion percentage bull.
An excellent start to the bull show today. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause for the bulls to the champion percentage. And I grew up not showing a whole lot of bulls. We kind of slowly progressed into having more and more. But early on, it took me a little while to truly understand how to evaluate a bull. And as I got through college, I gained a good understanding, especially judging some Brahmins down in Houston. That really opened my eyes. So learned a lot about what it means to be a bull and what it means to be a good bull. More than just about how they're built, what they possess, but their ability to go out and do their job and breed cows. And I think that any of these bulls could do an excellent job for a producer and going out and getting some cows bred. And I think they definitely vary in terms of the kind of cow that they can go out and produce. Maybe these bulls serve as a terminal sire. Maybe some of them are a little bit more masculine, or maybe a little bit more advanced in terms of their muscle patterns. One that can go and add some pounds to a calf crop. Maybe some that'll be a little more suitable to a younger cow base. Maybe are a little more attractive in terms of cowing ease numbers, or maybe go and produce some really attractive show females in their future. But I think all these bulls could do their own jobs respectively extremely well. But I think it's super important to have one that's good built, plenty good in terms of their ability to stay easy keeping and bold sprung in terms of the rib cage, and still plenty advanced in terms of their testicular development to make sure that they can go and do their job and get some cows bred. So I'll go ahead and talk each of these bulls, and then we'll go out and select your champion. But the bull that comes out of our first class, one that may be a nickel more moderate in terms of his frame size, but like I said in class, you step behind this bull, that is a bold sprung, wide pin bull that still stays plenty genuine down to the surface. I think that's one that maintains plenty of power as you travel back from nose to tail, one that I think will service extremely well. The bull that comes out of our second class, probably one of the more intriguing bulls in terms of his profile, meaning so from the side, that's a bull that pieces a lot of things together. I think he's good in terms of his head shape, good in terms of his neck, and he blends into a smooth shoulder, good forerib, and still plenty deep in terms of his center portion. I think that as that bull matures, I think he'll get even more exciting. As his lower skeleton is plenty soft and flexible, testicular development is good. That's a bull that I think as he progresses will be really cool. A bull in the third class that definitely came out of a bit of a tougher lineup, a set of bulls that offered some differences. That one offers plenty of power. That is probably the biggest footed bull in here, plenty wide in terms of his base, and still has plenty of circumference of bone. And I think a pair of bulls that come out of our fourth and fifth class that I think offer quite a few similarities. I think that they just truly look like breeding bulls. I think that they're plenty muscular. I think they're plenty good in terms of their rib, their sound, and they still motor with plenty of flex on the go. And I think, too, that definitely will offer plenty of appeal when you turn them out onto a cow base, and I think offer tons of quality. I'll go ahead and select your champion, and then we'll bring a second back out for consideration reserve.
So your champion percentage bull will be lot number 22, exhibited by Simmentals. Lot number 22, he is a March 20th, a 2024 calf. Congratulations, Mike. As long as Mike is out there holding his bull, and our judge is getting ready to pick out our reserve, now would be a good time to thank Mike Thean, Mindy Fuchs, and Gail Philippek, our show and sale committee members, for the nice selection of bulls and females they brought to you today. So let's give them a round of applause for Mike Thean, Mindy Fuchs, and Gail Philippek. Gail, if you open up your catalog to the front, this year's farm show was also dedicated to him. Who was the other? Ingebretson, which one? As well as Dan Ingebretson. Your two individuals, the 80th Watertown Farm Show was dedicated to.
we bring the second place bull out, one that I think is a lot like his class winner. Super intriguing from the profile. I think that's a bull that's plenty cool in terms of his ability to tie high to the top side of his shoulder, blend into a smooth rib, and still maintain plenty of balance and levelness back through his hip, and I think a bull that offers a lot of quality. I'm going to go out and select your reserve champion. Let's give these exhibitors one more round of applause.
See what lot's that? 10. So lot 10 from Philippek Family Simmentals will be your reserve. Your champion percentage bull will be from Thean Simmentals, lot number 22. We will now enter into the purebred bull class. Mitchell, you're all right. I don't care what they say about you. Irf.
Yeah, brown Swiss may come up. I don't know if he'll use that line or not yet.
Oh. Oh.
Jeff was using it as the funny comments the other day.
Yep. OBS. Are you wanting to get somebody's attention? I'll holler at him. That white-haired guy. Are you a white-haired guy? He's wanting to talk to you. How many white-haired guys are over there? You see him over there? He's waving at you. Hell, it might have been me. I don't know. And don't forget now, the Junior Simmental Association has a benefit silent auction items over in the corner of the sale ring, directly behind our live auction internet lady, Amanda Hildebrands. I spent $155 over there yesterday for the shorthorn people. I told.
Did you buy the John Deere set?
Yeah.
Nice.
Where'd that come from? Somebody must have bought a new combine or something to get that donated.
I forget, was it Fifth Bomb or I'd have to go.
Okay.
That's my baby over there. I'm on the South Dakota Shorthorn board, so they kind of put me in charge of the junior fundraising awards, all that stuff.
I think I'm probably going to have that on the Leash Lego Memorial silent auction Saturday. Excuse me. 4 days. Once again, in case I did not say this, these are entries from Hoyer Cattle Company. Lot 30 is an April 5th bull. Lot 25 is an April 1st bull. Just 4 days separate their age.
Yesterday, I was able to show a shorthorn bull alongside my dad, two bulls that were 4 days difference in age, and we've got a very similar scenario. Two different bulls, 4 days apart, father and son duo. I asked them who needed to win, and they said, let the bulls decide, and I agree. I think the bulls definitely decide for themselves. The young man in the cowboy hat's going to start today. I think that's a bull that when you stand behind him and get on top of him is definitely plenty robust in terms of his build. He's big and good in terms of his back shape, has plenty of center. I think as you go back through his hip, that's a pretty stout individual that I truly appreciate in terms of his ability to, I think, generate some pounds. And the bull that comes in second, one that I think maybe just isn't as blown apart in terms of his top. I think could use just a little bit bigger pin set. However, I think that's the bull that still gets out and motors extremely well. I think that's the bull that ties super high to the top side of his shoulder, and I think truly is impressive in terms of his testicular development. One that I think is plenty good in terms of his foot size and shape, and definitely plenty of quality in that pair of bulls. Congratulations.
So winning that class is lot number 25 from Hoyer Cattle Company of Miller. Second place, lot number 30, also from Hoyer Cattle Company. Class 2 bulls into the show ring. We'll have Ford Cattle Company, lot number 24 with a March 29th. And Hoyer Cattle Company, lot number 20 with a March 14th. Mid to late March bulls, 15 days separate the age. You pronounce your last name Grisner, right? Gessner. We want to thank Heather Gessner for being our Watertown Winter Farm Show photographer. Thank you, Heather. Once again, lot 24, the Red Bull, is a March 29th. No. That's wrong. The Black Bull is from Ford Cattle Company. That is a March the 29th. The Red Bull from Hoyers is a March 14th. Lot number 20. They're kind of lined up wrong, aren't they? I'd also like to thank Jasmine Adair, a young lady right here directly in front of the box, for being a ring steward and helping today. Thank you, Jasmine.
All right, we'll let these bulls stand. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Blaze Face bull this morning. I think that if you're a fan of ultra-dimensional, really big-footed cattle, this one definitely should be high on your list. I think as you study this one in terms of his shape, not only in terms of his forerib, his center portion, and as you travel back through his hip and down through his lower quarter, I think that bull offers a lot of intriguing dimension. I think that's one that can offer plenty of versatility if you decide to bring that one home. Definitely plenty of appeal and striking image in that bull. Congratulations to him. And growing up as a Shorthorn Red Angus Hereford kid, I definitely appreciate a little color. A Blaze Face is awfully cool, and a solid red one's even cooler. I think if you're looking to put a little bit more pounds into your calf crop, especially on a Red Angus cow base, I think that one would offer plenty of appeal. I think a lot of heterosis advantage in that one if you decide to do so, and I think he could get out and motor and cover plenty of cows plenty easily. Definitely one that's plenty flexible. He utilizes the comfort of his spine, his hock, and his pastern extremely well. Good in terms of his testicular development, and still plenty genuine in terms of his mass. Congratulations.
So winning that class is lot number 24 from Ford Family Simmentals with a March 29th calf. Second place, Hoyer Farms, Hoyer Cattle Company from Miller with lot number 20. a March 14th calf. We have 4 entries in Class 3. First one in from Kellen Land and Cattle is lot 15, a March 6th calf. Next from Watertown should be lot 14. Third place from J&M is lot 13, and in fourth place from Hoyer Cattle Company is lot 54. Hello. Hello. That's still killing up there, right?
Yep. Circle it all.
Once again, this is lot 15, the young gentleman on the north with a March 6th, followed by Vathauers, number lot 14, March 3rd, followed by J&M Cattle, lot 13, and then Hoyer Cattle, lot number 54. Just 4 days of age separate these cattle from March 2nd through March 6th.
The AOB consigners, are you going to walk around and get floors and talk to them, or would you like me to do that?
Whatever you want to do. If you want to, how much time are you going to have? The sale starts at 11. Do you want to do that? Because by the time we get done with this deal and I go through 50
Are
heads.
you going to announce the AOB classes, or are you
Sure.
going to go back right away?
No, I'll announce it for you.
Okay. I'm going to roll them right after this.
Yep,
Even
okay.
when you're taking pictures.
Yep.
Even if you're busy.
Yep.
Yeah, I can talk to the AOB buyers for
Yep.
time for you.
So in second place would be Vathauer. Our first place.
Hold them up into line. Kellen, I think, is one of the class. Lot 14 is fourth. 54 is third.
Well, if I were in a judging contest, this would be a class of bulls that I think you could talk all day long and have a lot of fun with. I think there's 4 bulls that offer plenty of quality in their own right, and I think offer enough differences to sort them. But plain and fact and simple, I think the bull that starts is good. This is a good creature. I think as this young man gets him stuck, that's one that you've got to appreciate from the side. I think he's ultra intriguing in terms of the profile, a really soft-haired bull that's presented to the nines, and I think is really intriguing in terms of his top line balance. He's ultra masculine in terms of his head, crest, and brow, and yet still is able to blend into his smooth shoulder, good forearm. As you travel back through his hip, that is a big pin bull that's got a lot of shape to his quarter and still plenty good and big at the surface. surface. I'm excited to see that one come back. The bull that comes in second, I think one that maybe doesn't have as much mass and width as the one that starts, but I think that's one that's still plenty good in terms of his build at the surface. I think as he gets out in motors is plenty flexible and is still good in terms of his frame size. It's a square built bull that comes out of a square level hip, and I think is appropriate in terms of his testicular development. Maybe one that I could just offer just a nickel more mass to compete with the one that starts. The Blaze Face bull is one that I think could offer a lot of intrigue to the right kind of cow base. I think that's a bull that definitely offers a pretty smooth shoulder, good in terms of his neck. I think that one's got some rib shape, and I think for his development right now, I think is good in terms of his testicular development, in terms of his ability to go out and breed cows. I think that's one that'll be awfully exciting. And the young man brings us a bull that is honestly rivals the class winner in terms of power, in terms of foot size and circumference of bone. I think that's a bull that offers a really big, stout hip, and I think is super intriguing in terms of power. I just wish that he laid his shoulder a nickel neater. I think one that maybe could just flex a little more about his hock and pastern, but an excellent bull that offers a lot of power, a lot of good true rib shape. Congratulations.
So winning that class is lot number 15 from Callan Land and Cattle of Madison, Minnesota. In second place, lot 13 from J&M. Simmentals of Condi. In third place from Hoyer Cattle Company, lot number 54. And in fourth place, lot number 14 from Vathauer. Vathauer's come to us from Wheaton, Minnesota. There's 2 entries in this class. This is lot 11 and lot 9X. Sure doesn't hurt. No. And I imagine there's a fair amount of them probably out the fields today.
Yeah. So how many classes are left after this? 6.
They're going to combine this one.
Yeah, then we keep going. I mean, they're still
Yeah.
A duo of bulls out here that offer tons of quality. I think the bull that starts probably has the advantage in terms of foot size. He's a little bit bigger in terms of his pin set, plenty big in terms of his circumference of bone, and I think that's good in terms of his rib, balanced in terms of his top line, and I think as he motors at you, still remains plenty square. That's a pretty good bull to start. Now, in terms of skeletal design, I think I actually do prefer the bull that goes second. I think he's able to motor just with a nickel more comfort in terms of his spine back through his hip, and then down to the surface in terms of his hock and his pastern. I think a bull that blends from a smooth shoulder into a good forerib, maybe just doesn't have quite as much shape up high as the bull that starts. An excellent duo there.
So winning that class is lot number 9X from JB3 from Beersford. And in second place, lot number 11 from Hink Family Simmentals of Condi. We'll now have class 5. It'll be Heyman Brothers Simmental with lot 7, a February 16th of 24. Hink Family Simmentals with lot 6, February 12th of 24. And Hildebrands Willow Creek Cattle with Lot 3, a January 8th of 24. So the one on the far end the young lady has is a February 16th calf. The next one, a February 12th. And the one on this end, January 8th. Once again, don't forget the silent auction items. Fundraiser for the Junior Simmental Association. If anybody's got a handkerchief around, Jasmine would like to clean her hand off.
All right, we'll leave these three bulls as they are. To my understanding, these two bulls are out of one class and then a single entry coming in together. We'll just kind of leave them stand and talk them. So this young lady's bull will go ahead and win that first class. I think a bull that, and today I've been preaching a little bit, probably too much about testicular development, but honestly, I think this guy takes the cake. I think this one is ready to go and serve some cows. If you're looking for a bull to go out and get the job done on a versatile cow base, I think this is the one you need to look at. This freeze-branded bull is still plenty sound and level in terms of his spine, comes out of a big stout hip and still remains plenty genuine down to the surface. Maybe just flex him up in terms of his pastern ever so slightly, but that's an awfully good bull. The blaze face bull that comes behind him, I think one that probably is a nickel more, I appreciate more in terms of his shoulder and into his neck. Maybe just lays a nickel smoother. Maybe doesn't reach quite as high up as that one that goes ahead of him, but one that's definitely plenty long and level in terms of his design. That's one that's big in terms of his frame size and still offers plenty of length and offers a lot of stretch into a cow base. And then the black bull that comes here. The single entry that I think definitely it was good for him to come out and see some more competition. That's a bull you've got to appreciate in terms of his width up high. Has plenty of turn to his rib and back through his hip and stifle, and still he definitely motors plenty good. So excellent trio of bulls there for those two classes.
So winning Class 5 is lot number 7 from Heyman Brothers Simmentals of Raymond. Second place, lot number 6 from Hink Family Simmentals of Condé. And in third place, lot number 3 from Hildebrand's Willow Creek from Clara City, Minnesota. Back into the show ring, we'll have lot number 25, lot number 24, lot number 15, lot number 9X, and lot number 7. This will be your purebred calf champion and reserve. Like to welcome our viewers watching the show on Live Auctions TV. If you've got a booking following along, there is a misprint in the book or a correction on lot 3. On lot 3 on the birth weight EPD, that should be a 1.1 instead of 11. That's 1.1. They are now picking your purebred calf champion. While they're doing this, once again, I'd like to thank our sales sponsors and show sponsors. Those sponsors are Access, formerly Castlewood and Esteline Co-ops, Hamlin County Farmers Co-op, Latini Ag, Tri-County Vet, BC Ag, Cloud 9, Glacial Lakes Livestock, Grunwald Seed, J&R Feeds, Willie's Sports Bar, MPL Incorporated, Larry Johnson, Schucard's Trailer Sales, Van Kooten Egg Service, and the Elevator Bar in Vienna.
Let's give these bull exhibitors a round of applause. There's a set of bulls out here that I think you could go a lot of different ways and find a lot of success. I think if you were to bring any of these boys back to your operation, I think they would offer tons of value, all in their own regard. I think there's bulls that'll definitely offer younger cow base an advantage. Maybe if you're looking to generate some females, as I mentioned earlier in our other bull division, or if you're just looking for a cow bull to go out and make some high weaning weight calves, I think these bulls can offer a whole lot of good. And I think that later today, there definitely should be a lot of interest in quite a few of these creatures. The bull that comes out of our first class, one that I was truly impressed in terms of his genuine width, up high and down to the surface, still motors plenty good. And at the ground, that is a square-built bull. His toes all point the same direction, and I think that's one that'll continue to be plenty sound in terms of his long-term career as a breeding bull. I think that's one that offers tons of advantages and has a lot of value. The Blaze Face bull, one that's so eye-catching in terms of his look from the side, ultra soft haired bull that's so shapely in terms of his midrib, back through his hip and stifle, I think offers a lot of turn and a lot of advantages. I think that's one that gives an awfully cool look from the side, and yet step behind him is still plenty big in terms of his hip. The bull that comes behind him out of the third class, the young man in the black cowboy hat, offers a bull that is ultra masculine in terms of his head, neck, and crest. I think one that still blends into his smooth shoulder, good forerib, and as you travel back, that is probably one of the stouter pin sets and probably one of the more attractive turns to his stifle down to the surface. You know, if I was to get picky, one that maybe gets just a nickel tighter out of his hip, but I think still motors with plenty of comfort and offers such an intriguing look from the side, that's one that definitely should be commended. The bull that comes behind him, one that I think follows these two in terms of type and kind quite similar, another ultra soft-haired bull that offers a really cool, really powerful dimensional view from the side, and I think is plenty big in terms of his foot, offers plenty of value in terms of adding a nickel more bone and foot size into a calf crop. And the bull that comes out of the fifth class here, I think one that is really, really intriguing in terms of his ability that I know to go out and cover some cows. I think that guy will be able to do that to an extremely, extremely well fashion. I think that's a bull that's ultra intriguing in terms of his balance. I think that's a bull that what you see is what you get, and what you get is awfully cool. And I think that that's one that should be definitely high on your list later today. And then the bull that was a single entry, kind of one of our older bulls there, one that's definitely plenty growthy, and I think is something that needs to be commended. You know, a bit in the larger frame bull that still ties plenty high to the top side of his shoulder, blends back with plenty of balance and still plenty of width back through his hip, and I think one that'll generate plenty of value when turned out to a cow base. I'll take one more peek at him. We'll select a champion bull, and then we'll bring the second back out for consideration. Let's give these guys one more round of applause.
What lot is that, Heather? Carolyn, can you tell me what lot number that is? 15. So your grand champion percentage bull is lot number 15. Is that right? Or purebred, I'm sorry. Your grand champion purebred bull is lot number 15. That comes to us from Kellen Land and Cattle.
We bring the second place out of that class, and I think he's definitely worthy of plenty of recognition. A bull that's ultra square and level and balanced in terms of how he's built. There's not a whole lot of things wrong with that bull, and I think that's one that can definitely offer plenty of quality. That's a really good long spine bull who's good in terms of his hip, plenty sound at the surface, and still offers plenty of substance and bone and mass, and I think a bull that should definitely be commended. I'm going to go out and select your reserve champion, and then we'll continue on. Let's give these guys one more round of applause.
This is your purebred and reserve champion Simmental calves. Your reserve champion is from Ford Farms, lot number 24. We've got some older bulls. We have lot 7 into the ring. It would be a March 12th of 23. Excuse me, class 7, lot 19. Lot number 19 will be a March 12th of 23. A single entry in this class. This is a March 12th of 23. Lot number 19.
Well, if you're ready to bring a bull home and let him run on cows today, this Blaze Face bull, I think, can definitely do the job. That's a bull that'll offer plenty of stretch and length to your calf crop. I think he's really cool in terms of his Blaze Face, and I think that really offers an intriguing profile from the side. He blends into a smooth shoulder. I think he's good in terms of his rib. He offers plenty of shape up high, and I think that can accumulate to plenty of back shape, offers some pretty big rib eyes on some calves, and I think offers plenty of quality. I'm excited to see that bull come back a little later on.
Once again, that bull was exhibited by Hoyer Cattle Company of Miller, lot number 19. Next in, we have class 8, lot number 2 from Duxbury's. Duxbury Cattle Company from Wessington. This is a September 3rd, 23 bull. fall born September 3rd of 23.
Super high quality single entry class here in our fall born division. Bull that I think offers tons of quality in a lot of different ways. It's one that's good in terms of his foot size and quality. I think as he gets out in motors, there's plenty of sound at the surface. A bull that I truly appreciate, I think in terms of his balance from the side. One that blends so smooth from nose to tail, and I think offers plenty of value. And as you step behind him, still offers plenty of width and turn down through his stifle. A bull that I'm super excited to see come back out a little later on. Let's give her a round of applause.
That bull was Lot 2, exhibited by Duxbury Cattle Company of Wessington, South Dakota. Next in, senior purebred bulls, we have Lot 1 from Schletters. It is a December 14th of 22. 23. 22? December 14th of 22. No. So that's 3 years old. Will be. I don't like it. You'll breed 2 cows and go lay under a tree. And then if you
There's definitely plenty of strength here in the aged bull division of the Simmental show, and I think this guy is a testament to that. This is a big dude, and he's got a lot of power. I think he's got a lot of foot size. I think he's big boned, pretty stout in terms of his build. I think that's one that offers plenty of mass up high. That's definitely a bull that I think you need to pay attention on a little later today. I think you got to truly appreciate the power that that one possesses and is still able to motor with plenty of comfort at the surface. So let's give this guy a big round of applause as we prep for our champion.
We will now select your senior purebred bull champion and then our overall purebred champ in reserve. So back into the ring, we need Lot 19, Lot 2, and Lot 1 is in the ring. Immediately following the Simmental show will be the all other breeds.
If you came to Watertown today looking for a Simmental bull, today's your lucky day because there's plenty of good ones to go around, and I think that these all should be commended. I think there's 3 bulls out here in our age division, in our senior division drive that I think offer a lot of differences that should be definitely appreciated. The Blaze Face bull that comes out of our first class, one that's pretty long in terms of his, he's got a lot of length. He's a long spine individual I think is big in terms of his frame size, and I think when that one gets turned out to cows should be able to cover ground with ease. The bull that comes out of our second class, one that I think is ultra intriguing in terms of his balance. I think that one blends extremely well from nose to tail. I think as he gets out in motors, he offers plenty of flex, still offers some turn and shape up high, and I think one that once he gets turned out on cows similar to the one ahead of him, will be able to do an exceptional job. And then we've got our oldest bull out here today that I think is one that should be definitely appreciated for the amount of mass and power and foot size he has and still able to get out and motor with plenty of flexibility. I think you take any 3 of these bulls out and turn them out on cows and they'll do an excellent job for you. Pick your poison on which one you like the best, and I'll go ahead and select your champion here for our senior age division.
So your senior champion will be lot number 2 from Duxbury Cattle Company. Lot number 2, your senior champion. Your reserve will be lot number 19 from Hoyer Cattle Company. Back into the show ring. Back into the show ring, we'll need lot number 15. You could just well bring in lot 15 and lot 24, both of them. Yep. Lot 15 is your purebred calf champion. As they are parading around the ring, the young man directly in front of me has got your purebred calf champion. That's lot number 15 from Kellen Cattle Company. Followed by your senior purebred bull champion, lot number 2 from Duxbury Cattle Company. The smaller Blaze Face bull is your reserve champion, lot 24. The larger Blaze Face bull is your senior purebred champion. What number is he? Until the start or the end, or
The end.
all right.
Let's give these bull exhibitors another round of applause. When Mike Teen texted me a couple months ago to see if I'd be available to judge Simmentals, I was definitely very appreciative, and I was not prepared for the quality of livestock that we'd see today. I think there's some really, really awesome cattle here, and it was a lot of fun to evaluate them. I think especially here in our bull division, I think this is where a lot of the ultra quality truly shines, and I commend these exhibitors for doing such an awesome job preparing these animals, making them look the part, and I think any bull buyers here in the arena this morning definitely need to be taking note of some awfully high quality individuals to hopefully get the last bid on a little later today. The bull that comes out of our yearling division, I think one that truly has to be appreciated from a lot of angles. I think you study him at the surface, that bull is built square, he's built good, He motors with enough flexibility. Maybe one I could tweak in terms of his ability to motor out of the backside of his spine just gets a little tighter, but I think that's a very, very small, minute thing compared to how high quality that one is. Plenty masculine up front, still blends plenty smooth, long and level in terms of his spine, and I think that as you step behind him, that is a big pinned individual that definitely offers plenty of power, offers plenty of phenotypical appeal. And then the bull that comes out of our age advantage division, a bull that definitely has the advantage in terms of maturity, and I think that's one that has been able to hold himself together extremely well. I think he's also very good at the surface. That's one that still motors out of his hock and pastern extremely well. He's good and sound in terms of his spine, offers some shape in terms of his lower stifle, and I think that's a bull that when you take him home will be able to do a lot of good. And respectively to the reserves, both of the Blaze Face bulls offer tons of quality. I think the bull that comes out of the yearling division, one that offers plenty of look, a soft-haired individual that just gets bigger and wider as you travel back through his hip, and I think that's something that definitely needs to be appreciated. And in the reserve champion or senior division, one that offers plenty of length, plenty of stretch, and I think turn him out on a set of cows, that one will make you smile quite big when his first calf crop hits the ground. So let's give these bulls another round of applause. I'll go ahead and select your champion, immediately followed by your reserve.
So your overall champion purebred Simmental bull will be from our junior division. That will be lot number 15. Lot number 15. Lot 15 is from Kellen Land and Cattle Company from Madison, Minnesota. We will now select our overall reserve champion. Your overall reserved is out of the senior division, and that will be lot number 2 from Duxbury Cattle Company of Weston. We've got one steer, and then we'll be on to all other breeds. I just wrote it. I got so damn many papers up here, for Christ's sakes, woman. It's over here. Oh, yeah. Duxbury. Yep. Lot 30. That's twos. God, I just had these laid out. I got to go to page 5. You betcha. Yes. We've got one steer from Philippek family. It's lot 52. It is a May 21st of 24. That gentleman out there helping with this steer as he raises, this is Gail Philippek. If you turn to page 3, there's a bio on Gail. This year's Watertown Winter Farm Show was dedicated to Gail and his wife, Mary. Let's give them a round of applause. Mitchell Vanderwall's father, Jeff, always says that Gail Philippek is the oldest 4-H member that he knows. Yeah.
The first place I ever judged pigs, I think, was at Gail Philippek's house, and my dad said, start at the surface and work your way up, and Gail definitely makes him good at the surface. This is a very, very sound steer. His feet all point the right direction, and I think long-term that'll allow him to be plenty versatile in being able to motor with a lot of comfort in any show ring you put him in. A super stretchy steer that I think is still good in terms of his front end, super attractive, blends back with plenty of balance, and Gail definitely said that you feed this one hard, and I think he'll be awfully good come state fair. Gail even mentioned that he might have a little bit of a reward if you're able to take this one back to the fraternity. So if you're 8 years old or 18 years old, this is the steer to buy. So come back a little bit later. This is your grand champion steer, and he needs to go home with you. Let's give him a round of applause.
So once again, that steer was exhibited for raised and broke by that gentleman walking right behind it, Gail Philippek. Thank you, Gail. We will now go right into the all other breeds. Class 1, Lot 1 from Hoyer Cattle Company. We'll make her. Class 1, Lot 1 from Hoyer Cattle Company. Thank you. This calf was born April 2nd of 2024. B.A. Gelby. It's in your catalog back on page 95. If you look at, gee whiz, at a 205, 885 pounds.
An excellent start to our AOB division, this Gelby bull. If any of you have ever driven between DeSmitten and Lake Preston, there's this little place that raises a lot of Gelby, and this one's definitely worthy of that stamp of approval. I think this is a bull that is super, super intriguing in terms of his foot size. That is a big-backed bull with plenty of mid-rib to him, plenty good in terms of his testicular development, and like Terry said, this one weaned off pretty big, and I think take this Gelby bull home, let him run on some cows, and you'll make some very, very big weaning weight calves. So congratulations to him.
Our next class is Class 2. We've got 2 entries. Lot 3 from Jensen Cattle Company. And Lot 5 from Justin Victoria. What is that? Kian. Lot 5 is a Kiania. Lot 3 is a Charlet composite. The sale is scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. It might be just a few minutes after that. But if you need a bid number, as you go over towards the lunch stand, the chamber booth is set up right alongside of the KWAT booth. and you can pick up a bid number over there. So pick up a bid number from the chamber booth if you want to, or we'd certainly appreciate it if you would. Cattle will be sold by number. They've got the computerized system and everything. It just works so much smoother if everybody's got a bid number.
I'm going to lead these two heifers as they walked in. We're going to start with a black-hided Kiania female that starts, a heifer that's definitely I appreciate in terms of how well she's able to blend into an attractive, she's really thin at the top side of her neck, blends into a smooth shoulder, good forerib, and still plenty balanced and good in terms of her design about our top line, and sets down on a pretty square, comfortable foot at the surface. A soft-haired individual that I think if you're looking for a show heifer prospect, that one is definitely one to look at. The Charlotte Composite heifer that'll go second today, one that I think is really needs to be appreciated in terms of her feminine front end. I think that's one that lays into her shoulder extremely well. Good in terms of the angle of her knee and down to the surface, and on her rear lower skeleton, definitely one that has plenty of flexibility and still motors with plenty of comfort, and I think that's one that needs to be commended for the quality she presents. Let's give these two a round of applause, and we'll continue the AOB show.
So winning that class is Lot 5 from Justin Victoria. Second place, Lot 3. Lot 3 is from Jensen Cattle Company. One entry in Class 3, Lot 2 from Dury Farms.
Another really intriguing Kiania female comes out. One that definitely is plenty attractive in terms of her front end. She gets up and perks her head and her ears forward, and I think you've got to fall in love with that one. She's really cool in terms of her center portion. She offers plenty of turn at the top side of her rib, and still offers plenty of turn underneath. Well, that's a bold rib female that still comes back with plenty of balance. Good in terms of her design and her angles. Excited to see her back for champion.
Once again, that was Lot 2, exhibited by Dury Farms of Bristol.
Young man brings the other Kiania heifer out for evaluation, and I think that this is a pair of females that if you're looking to find yourself a show heifer, potentially a mama cow, either of these could do an exceptional job at that. They're both good in terms of how they're built, offer plenty of power and still motor with plenty of flexibility. We're going to go ahead and use this heifer to my left as your champion or for the AOB, and then the heifer to the right as reserve. Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause.
We've got one more single entry. Be Lot 4 from Dury Farms. Be a Kiania steer. Before we conclude this show this morning, I'd like to have one more round of applause for our judge, Mitchell Vanderwall. He's done an excellent job of giving reasons and had nothing but positive things to say about the cattle. Let's give Mitchell Vanderwall another round of applause.
We've just got one steer in the AOBs, but this one's pretty good. I think to get a calf, a soft-haired individual with that big a foot and still motor with that much comfort is definitely something to keep your eye on. If you're looking for a show steer prospect to make it to state fair or even something a little bit later, I think this calf can do that exceptionally well. One that's still clean and good in terms of his front end, tight in terms of his throat latch, yet still blends into a pretty powerful lower skeleton with plenty of comfort. You step behind him, that's a big hipped steer that offers plenty of intrigue in terms of the power and mass he presents, and still, like I mentioned, that's a soft-haired calf that I think as you continue to push him later into the summer can do a whole lot of good for any showman. Let's give her a round of applause, and thank you for the AOB show.
So that steer was exhibited by Dairy Farms of Bristol. Thank you, young lady.